And welcome back to another awesome episode of The Change Officer here at Step Conference. And this time with me, finally, Mirna from Fintech Galaxy. I wanted to get you in the show for a while. A lot of our followers asked the same. So I'm really happy and humbled that you're with us today.
I'm pleased. Thank you. And good morning to you and everybody attending Step Conference.
Yeah, it's a good morning. What do you think about Step so far?
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's so good to see people physically and in person after such a long time being behind the screen.
Yeah. No, I think what I like about Step especially, first of all, the part of the year, which is just amazing in Dubai. This is the part of the year when everyone living in Dubai says like, why would I ever leave this place, And then the summer kicks in and then you're like, I hate this place.
It's getting hot actually.
It is.
Perfect timing now.
It is, yeah. But yeah, a lot of great stuff, some interesting startups, a lot of chats, and a good opportunity to catch up with awesome people.
Yeah.
So, look, before we jump into our general conversation and the topic that we cover in the Change Officer, I would like to bring Fintech Galaxy a bit closer to our audience as well. I believe many are familiar with the name. If you ask anyone, you have heard about Fintech Galaxy. Yeah, do you know what they do exactly? Yeah, what? Oh, I'm not sure. So maybe it's a good opportunity to actually also bring more clarity to that, and there is nobody better than you to do that.
Well, see, Fintech Galaxy itself has been changing and evolving. Okay, it's driven by one simple vision, one purpose in life, which is bringing financial inclusion into the region. That's the underlying mission for the company. But of course, we have been providing certain services and products to the market that cater for their needs based on where they are in their transformation. So Fintech Galaxy is an open innovation platform that brings the 5 pillars of an ecosystem together on one place.
All right.
Okay. When you talk fintech, you talk financial institutions, banks and firms. You talk the innovators, which is the startups, or we call them the fintechs. There's the regulators, very important role in the market. There's the investments, so the investors, the angels and the VCs. And the 5th one is the infrastructure itself. Now, for us to achieve what we want to achieve, we had to bring the ecosystem together and we had to build the platform. And this platform, which we launched last year, even though the company is 4-year-old, but actually the platform was launched last year, which is called Phoenix. And this platform is built on the open banking, open finance principles, exactly. So API integrations and all of that, without going into a lot of technology. So what we do is we allow institutions to find their right partner from the fintech or the startup ecosystem after, of course, identifying their own needs and pain points, and then testing on a sandbox, a digital sandbox that we provide in a very controlled environment, and then eventually taking that proof of concept to production and live environment.
That's very interesting because this is the topic, open finance, collaboration between banks and fintechs, regulators who are always making some problems. This is always the conversation that pops up, whoever you talk to, and everyone agrees what the solution is. And the solution is one united ecosystem of institutions, fintechs, regulators who are all working together to facilitate the future of financial services. So being at the middle of that sounds like a really good place to be, Mirna.
It is exciting times. I mean, see, we're unlike other open banking players, we're way beyond technology. I mean, building a platform is just putting together some pieces and spending some capex and that's it. But actually activating the ecosystem and making a difference, that's the biggest part, and that's the most difficult one, and that's what we've been doing over the past 40 years. Now, let's start with the regulators. I mean, regulators, they have a job, right? Their main job is financial stability. They're born to actually protect the financial sector through fiscal policies and monetary policies. Now, here comes the whole sector getting disrupted and transforming, and the regulators now have to balance between allowing some innovation to happen and and protecting the stability of the
Which is
of the
not an
financial.
easy job to do at all.
It's very hard, and then the regulators are people who've been in the market for so long. You know, they are used to certain business models that are operating. Plus, the banking sector itself is in this part of the world is owned by families. So imagine a regulator coming and saying, "Okay, come startups, young kids on the block. I'm going to allow you to come and disrupt the banks." I mean, nobody wants that, right?
Yeah.
Because let's face it, not all fintechs and not all startups are steady and solid enough to be allowed to play with people's money and accounts and data. This is very, very serious issue. So fintechs always blame regulators for not doing the job. Actually, regulators are doing more than what they are supposed to be doing. The problem is fundamental in our region. For fintech to actually make an impact and the transformation to happen, you need to open up the markets. Like look in Europe. If you get one license from one European market, that's it. Khalas, you're done. You have the whole market open for you. In the Middle East and North Africa region, every market has its own, regulatory policies and procedures and jurisdiction. So if you get a license from Bahrain, it doesn't open up the market for you in Saudi Arabia.
What's your thought? Like, okay, we have an example of European Union.
Yeah.
Do you think something of that sort would be possible to pull
Well,
off?
my dear, when
the
in my
region?
previous life, when I was a journalist, I was waiting for the day when they do something as a region or even as a Gulf. I mean, when you open regulations across the Gulf, we've spoken about one monetary, policy. We've spoken about one currency. We've spoken about all of that until everybody got sick and tired, and we're not even waiting for that to happen. It would be ideal. To have one block. One.
Yeah, wouldn't it be great? There's like 400 million people, right? Something
Exactly, and that's the key. I mean, until this happens, you won't have the scalability of the fintech. But passporting of the licenses, which is now being discussed among regulators, could be a good solution for allowing, if you are licensed in a certain market, you can transport that license to another market. So that could be a possibility. But change is coming. Change is happening. Change is not the future. Change is today.
Change is now.
Change today. And every chief executive officer is a change executive officer. And we need to look at how the market is changing, and it's changing rapidly. I mean,
how do you even keep up with the pace of the amount of new technology that is arising? And like my background is in technology. But I literally, and I'm relatively young, let's say, I feel like a dinosaur with my knowledge of PHP and .NET. Like what are you talking about? AI, crypto, blockchain, NFTs and stuff. How do you, as an executive, keep up with the change?
Well, see, first you have to be agile. So
easier said than done, yeah.
The old days of putting a strategy that is fixed over 3 years they're
long term.
gone. They're
That's
gone.
long term, 3 years.
3 years is a long time. We raised $2.3 million in October, and we said this is going to give us a runway of 1 year, to 18 months. And now the investors are saying, okay, you're moving too fast. When are you going to raise in the second round? And I was like, okay, hold on. Market is moving so fast. It's not about every new disrupting technology or emerging technology you have to adopt it. You have to sit and listen and learn, right? But then the market itself is changing. So banks, I'll tell you something. Last year, banks were still exploring how to transform and how to collaborate with fintechs. And we thought, okay, let's go and talk to them about open banking. Now, open banking, what it does, it gives the authority back to the consumer, so the consumer can actually own and control and manage their own data, right? And data is the most expensive and the biggest, most precious asset in financial services. Now banks, when you go to them, they say, okay, open banking is not even giving me any value. What's in it for me? I'm exposing my APIs. I'm giving the data back to the consumer. What's in it for me? Zilch, nothing, nil. So now banks are talking banking as a service, which is, if you're still stuck in the old days of, okay, let's do digital transformation, you're way behind. Banking as a service is banks are turning into platforms themselves. Fintech as a service. So everything is changing so fast, and the chief executive officer, first of all, needs to have a team on the ground who are very much empowered. If you are very, micromanaging and you want to make sure that you dictate on your team how to deliver things, you're going to fail. What you tell them is, I want you to get me there from point A to point B. How you do it is your problem. You know more than I do. That's why I hired you.
Sure. No, that does make sense. What I would like to talk about the future with you, and to get your perspective on that next. I don't know if there is even a next. There's already the next change is tomorrow, but like what's coming that's still not there? Let's say next big thing that you believe will happen, and let's say in the region, that will all of a sudden open up great new opportunities that we can look at now and start preparing for it, or like where are you putting your bets on?
Well, see, I'm going to be a bit biased and focus on financial services
That's fair,
and finance,
Yeah.
because that's where I sit. The financial services is changing as a whole, and the old ways of doing insurance, pension, asset management, capital markets, investments, all of this is changing. Any company that actually does not change the way they operate will cease to exist. They're no longer going to stay and fight. Now they are there because they have legacy. So they have the trust of the customer, they have massive books, they have massive assets and loans and assets under management. But going forward, the customer expectations are changing. Emerging technologies are disrupting everything that we do. And emerging technologies, I'm talking here artificial intelligence, blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, all of that is actually changing the way you operate. Now you can buy a burger with cryptocurrency. Here in Dubai, you can buy a burger. I mean, can you imagine?
Where? Let's promote the place.
I don't even know the name, but
we can add
I
it
don't
to
eat
the
burgers.
description. Yeah. All right.
But you can...
Beyond burgers, no.
I don't know. But what I'm trying to say here is the old ways of buying art is changing. Fund management is changing. So an opportunity now is, okay, we are sticking to the principles of account saving and account, opening accounts and currents and loans and all of that. But the way we offer financial services is changing. And the opportunity today and for the future is to look at the 15-year-olds today and ask them, how are you gonna run the world 5 years from today? And then you do reverse engineering. Kids today don't go to the stores. I mean, I have a 15-year-old. What she wants all the time is an Amazon card. That's what she wants.
What does she buy on Amazon? Like
she buys books.
Where does she spend?
She buys books.
That's good.
Huh?
That's good.
She buys books, she buys clothes. She doesn't even go and try them out. She just buys whatever she wants. She buys gadgets.
Is she into TikTok and this social media?
Well, see,
stuff?
I have two girls. One is too much into social media and TikTok and a lot of bracelets and slimy and and resin. She does resin. She's very artistic.
All right.
And one is into kickboxing and she's against those
But
very feminine.
They're the future. In 10 years, one of them will be sitting across someone like me, talking about their startup, and they're growing up in a completely different environment, right?
I had to pay something at home. Somebody came to fix something at home, and I needed cash. I didn't carry cash, and she said, "Why don't you tap your phone on his phone?"
Transfer.
And I'm like, "This doesn't work here. Why? Like, why doesn't this?"
So normally for them, that's
for
normal.
them, even if it doesn't happen today, this is how they think. Tap your phone, or send him on WhatsApp. Like send him money on WhatsApp. And if you really wanna look at the future, ask those kids. They will tell you what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I think this is really strong message for us to wrap up. Before I let you go, one random fun question. So if one day, inshallah, you write your own biography or autobiography, what would be the name of that book?
Okay, I didn't see this coming. It would be. It would be. Uh, Lamaro.
All right. What does that mean? Tell us more about it.
Do I have to?
Oh, you don't have to. We're going to leave with that. We're going to wait for that book to come out. All right.
Thank you.
Mirna, it was a pleasure having you on. Guys, thanks for staying. I hope that you managed to pick up some good insights from Mirna that we finally got on the show. But we
Thank
need
you.
to do another one longer to deep dive into some of these topics. So you're going to get the invite.
We'll talk about my days as a journalist. That's
And
where
that-
the
that-
story.
and,
Oh
and,
my
and
god!
you can actually give me a lot of insights and tips on how I should do my job now.
Oh, you do a great job. Come on.
Am I good?
Yeah,
All right.
amazing.
Okay, that's cool. But I'll count on that, and we'll definitely stay in touch. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, dear. Have a great day.
You too.